Hello there. It is a late Wednesday morning. I am in Western Seoul, in Gangso-gu. Specifically, I'm in Hwagok-dong. I'm just outside Gate 3 of Hwagok Station. And I don't know anything about this area in terms of what's here. I'm completely unfamiliar with it. I haven't spent any time here. I may have passed through at some point, I don't know. But yeah, this is a part of Seoul that I just don't know. So that's why I've come out here today. I'm going to wander around the neighborhood and see what I find. And in particular, I'm looking for some old mom and pop hole-in-the-wall restaurants, the kind that serve like the family recipe stuff, the home-cooked meals that you used to see them all over pretty much every neighborhood in Seoul, but they've been vanishing in the past couple of decades. So they're really hard to find these days outside of certain areas. So I don't know what's out here, and I'm going to see what I can find. So let's go. One thing that strikes me right off the bat is the little street vendor stalls here. They're not the metal boxes that you usually see in other parts of the city. They're frames with tarps on them. Hwagok-dong is a fairly big neighborhood. It's one of those big, what they call a legal neighborhood that's divided up into several smaller administrative neighborhoods, and most of them are just, like Hwagok-dong with a number, so like Hwagok Il-dong, Hwagok I-dong, that kind of thing, 1, 2. And from what I've read, it was, or maybe still is, the second most populous neighborhood in the city, and also the most, it has the highest population density. And I got that from the Namu Wiki, a Korean wiki. I don't know how up to date that is. I didn't do a lot of reading up on it because I do want to explore and I didn't want any spoilers. But we're on a little small hill here, but there's also this valley down here. And the wiki said that the valley here used to be very fertile. There used to be a lot of rice fields out here, but there was also a lot of clay. And apparently the clay from this area was used in pottery. And there was a period just before it was developed where they didn't have any paved streets or anything out here. And it was always muddy from all the clay. So, taxi drivers, I read, would refuse to come out here. But the area was developed in the 1960s, starting in 1966. And by the 1990s, there were a lot of private homes out here, the houses, the little 1- and 2-story houses, single family homes. But those have largely been replaced by villas. There has been talk of some new town development projects over the past 20 or so years, starting back in 2002. There was a pause during Park Hwan-soon's period as mayor, but from 2021 there was more talk of some new town projects out here. So again, I didn't dive into all the details on this stuff, and I don't know what the current situation is in terms of new town development, but I do know that there is still some new villa construction out here. And by villa, if you're not familiar with the term as it's used in Korea, that's this kind of thing right here. These are the low-rise apartment buildings. Koreans call them villas. So when you're looking for restaurants in a Seoul neighborhood, right, you'll find, like, on the main streets, like over there where the subway station was, there will be a lot of stuff out there on the main streets. These days, those tend to be bigger restaurants, franchises, chains, whatever. I mean, you can still find some independent restaurants out there, but when you come back into the neighborhood, you'll find a street like this one, usually one or two streets like this one, maybe not as busy as this one, but they're wider, and they'll be crisscrossed by smaller little streets and alleys. But it's on the streets like this where you'll find the most restaurants and shops in the back streets. And so these are the areas where you go to look for the kind of restaurant that I'm looking for. But right now, before we go down that way, I want to check out the villas in this neighborhood just to get a sense of how old they look. And actually, they don't look that old, the ones I'm looking at right now. These look like they could have been built in the late 90s or the early 2000s, many of them. I'll have to check the real estate map later when I get home. Yeah. Okay, I wonder, am I right or not? This looks 90s era to me. This one, by these, the style of bricks here, I would say late 90s, early 2000s. Now watch when I get home and check, find out I'm wrong on everything. Another thing I read on the wiki is that you'll find a lot of newlyweds and young families out here in this area because of the lower housing costs compared to other parts of Seoul. So Gangso-gu is one of the districts that I kind of jokingly refer to as the river districts, because each of these four districts, they have gang in the first part of the name, the first syllable, and that means river. And then the second syllable is one of the cardinal directions. So everybody watching this is probably familiar with Gangnam, right? That's the Nam is south, so river, south, the South River district. And then you also have Gangdong in the east and Gangbuk in the north. And of the four districts, Gangbuk is the only one that's not next to the river, and it's also the only one on the north side of the river. The other three districts, Gangso, Gangnam, and Gangdong, are all on the south bank of the river. And there's the added confusion if you're a foreigner, especially like me, when you first get here, that people use the, in English, lowercase g version of Gangnam and Gangbuk to refer not just to the districts, but to the sides of the river, the parts of the city on the south side and north side of the river. So Gangnam could be the district, but it could also be just south of the river. Similarly, Gangbuk could be the district or it could be north of the river. And that used to confuse me sometimes. And they don't tend to use it for like the entirety of the South and North Banks, just for like the central area. So yeah, I might do a video on that one day. But yeah, Gangso, there's no confusion there. When you hear Gangso, you usually people are talking about Gangso-gu. And it looks like I've stumbled into the local neighborhood shopping district. All kinds of stuff here. Okay, so the buildings down here on this little street look to be older than the ones up above us. So one thing that struck me about these streets back here is I didn't see any shops on the first floor of any of the villas. These days, especially in Gangnam, you see that on the back streets sometimes. And that is really convenient when you have a shop you need and it's just, you know, in the villa right next door or right around the corner. That way you don't have to walk the 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever, to get to the commercial street like this one. But yeah, this neighborhood doesn't seem to have, that doesn't seem to have taken hold yet in this neighborhood. But here's a pro tip when you're in Seoul. If you're looking for some cheap pizza that doesn't taste cheap, it actually tastes pretty good. I know some people will disagree with me, but I am a fan of Pizza School. So especially their sweet potato pizza with a cheese crust. You're talking like 12,000, 13,000 won, maybe. It used to be 10 or 11. I think it's gone up a little bit. All right, and so this is obviously a small local market. It's not the kind of touristy place that you'll find downtown. All right, so we're back out on Hwago Road. This is the main street. Up the subway station, Hwago Station's up that way. And we're still kind of in the middle of Hwagokdong. Oh, all you can eat. Gogi Saran, meat salon, all you can eat Korean barbecue restaurant. Now that's interesting. just passed by this place. I thought at first when I looked back and saw it, first I thought it was a restaurant because you see chicken and beverage and hamburger and cook, right? So this probably used to be a restaurant. Cookie, yeah, cookie, hamburger, ramen. But that's not what it is. So at second glance, I thought it was a little mom and pop mart, but it's not. It's one of these new staffless places where you do everything self-service. So since I've come in here, even though I haven't had lunch yet, I might as well buy something. When I did my Q&A video, I went into a little place like this, and one of the ice creams I wanted to show, somebody had asked me what my favorite ice cream was, and one of them I wanted to show was not in stock. So I'm looking to see if they have it here. It's the Sangsang bar, and I don't see it anywhere yet. There's the Teiji bar. They have the chocolate Teiji bar too. Yeah, I've showed you this one before, but this is the chocolate version. I like that original one better. And here's a strawberry dessert. Yeah, I don't see the Sangsang. World Cone used to be one of my favorites. I'm not a big fan anymore. Yeah, my mother-in-law likes these. This is like the the Bungeoppang snack, but it's in ice cream form. Yeah, no Sangsang. But I'm here, I should buy something, so I will go ahead and get a Gugu bar. All right, let's go ahead and open this guy up. So you've got the nuts on the chocolate crust outside, and wow, this is solid. Oh. This is good. Their ice cream is kind of a caramel flavor, I think, but they also have like marshmallow inside. I don't know if they have them in the bar or not, but you can get like these tubs of the Gugu ice cream, and they have the nuts and the caramel and the marshmallow. Yeah, really good. Yeah, there we go. There's the marshmallow. Yeah, that was good. I haven't had a Gugu bar in a long time. All right, so there's just apartments up here, and I don't see any restaurants that look like what I'm looking for. You know, being here in Korea as long as I have, I hate to say this, I don't want to sound like like an ass, but one thing that has kind of gotten old is when people come up and want to practice their English. And I can't believe I used to encourage people to do this. But, the first few years I was here, I was like, oh, cool, this is fun, But after 10, 20, 30 years, it's like, oh, not again. But one thing that never gets old is people coming up to offer me help, even though I don't really need it. So just a few minutes ago, I had the camera off and I was just kind of looking around, checking things out. And I must have looked lost because this guy came up to me and says, excuse me, are you looking for something? Can I help you find something? And I'm like, oh, no, thank you. But that is just so normal here in my experience. And I've seen videos of people who are visiting Korea, tourists, who were having difficulties with the buses or the subway, or, trying to order food. And time and again, they're saved by some stranger, nearby, somebody passing by or sitting nearby, who just leans over and says, do you need help? Can I help you? It's so cool that happens so often. So yeah, never gets old for me. Okay, so there are several little restaurants around this area. But again, none of the kind that I'm looking for so far. Oh, there's some stuff back here. Let's go see what we've got. This is a brand new villa. So, you know, I mentioned earlier that they're still building new villas in this area, and this is one of them. And, you know, it's kind of hard to call this. This is like, you know, what the high-rise apartments used to look like. But, I mean, can you even call this a villa when they're this high? And, you know, you see these pink banners outside. It means that they've got rooms available for rental or sometimes purchase. And this one here, Punyang Samushil, this means if you want to come in and talk about getting one of these apartments in this building, you go to this office here. It's on the 6th floor. Well, here we have some newer high-rises. Okay, I've stumbled onto a street that looks like it might have some promise. Here's an older, smaller place that kind of fits what I'm looking for, except it's a sundae restaurant. They also have, sundae is the blood sausage. They have sundae guk, sundae gopchangchop, intestines. Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, they've got tenjang jjigae, jeonggukjang. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Here's a candidate. I'll wander around a little more, see what's around. Well, here's a little naengmyeon place. On a day like today, naengmyeon would be really good. What is this? Oh, it's a coffee shop. Okay, here we go. What's this? This is, oh, no, it's not a restaurant. It's a butcher. Okay, so I just stumbled on a place where the villas look a little older. Like you see these up here, they're like 3 stories compared to the 5 or 6 or 7 story buildings around them. And these would have been built in the 70s or the 80s. This is the kind of thing you would have seen over in Pogwangdong in that video I did there. This is a cool looking place. Okay, and here's a little small kimbap restaurant. Since it's open 24 hours. And they've got a variety of stuff. It's still not quite it. Okay, I don't know what the deal is, but there are a lot of love motels on this street and around this street. Like this one. And there's 1, 2, 3 up there. A couple more back there. Another one right there. I don't know what this is. There's a motel. And the reason I say that is because usually you find these kinds of love motels in like the little university neighborhoods or around train stations or sometimes in commercial districts, near commercial districts with a lot of office buildings. Like in Gangnam, there's several areas where you can find them clustered together, but I don't know what reason they'd be clustered together here. All right, so I haven't found anything other than that Cheonggukjang and Doenjang Jjigae place that I saw earlier with the sundae. Well, there was the kimbap place, which looked interesting, but I think I'm gonna go for the Cheonggukjang. So I'm gonna head back that way now. And, whoa, if I can avoid breaking my leg. I'm hungry and I need a break, so let's go. Well, I am back at the place I saw earlier, but I'm not going to get the Cheonggukjang. I found that they have something that I didn't notice before, and that is the kongguksu. It's Tomankong kongguksu. Kongguksu, guksu means noodles, right? And kong means bean. Usually kongguksu is made with soybeans. The soup, the broth is made from ground soybeans. The noodles are wheat noodles. And it's usually served cold, iced. So it's a seasonal drink that they serve usually in the hot months. This one, the gomonggong, is a black bean that they use. But I've looked it up, it's like called the black turtle bean or something like that. So this is just a different variety of it. Yeah, I love kongguksu, and I've been thinking about going to a restaurant to show you some kongguksu. I was going to take you to one in my neighborhood, but since I found this one, might as well go ahead and eat it now. And it's actually a nice day for it. I wasn't looking forward to eating something hot on a hot day like this, especially after all that walking, but I'm glad they have the kongguksu because that'll be nice and cool. And I was going to eat here, but I think she just asked me to come inside. So got some kimchi on the side, but this is it. So you see the color of the broth. It looks like soy milk, yeah? That's the color. And here, this is the ground beans and the noodles, and we've got cucumber. And yeah, it's nice and cold, nice and cool. I don't see any ice in it, but yeah, there we go. There's the ice. Ice cubes. I haven't had any kongguksu in a while. I don't think I ate any last year. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's some good stuff. And the cucumber's a little bitter. But yeah, I am happy right now. Let me see how the kimchi tastes. Okay, that's some really sour kimchi. That's the kind that might give me trouble later on. So I am going to eat my noodles, and I'll see you when I'm done. So yeah, it was good. Really, really good. And I will link the restaurant in the description below. So if you ever happen to be in the area, you can go try it out. They had other stuff in there too. You know, somebody was eating some grilled fish, and of course they had the Doenjang Jjigae. So at first I thought it was a sundae restaurant because that's what the sign said. Sundae is the blood sausage. But I didn't see anybody eating blood sausages in there. So, and if you do get one of the other dishes, they give you a lot more banchan, side dishes. So with the kongguksu, they just give you the kimchi, two different kinds of kimchi. So anyway, it was good. The kimchi wasn't the way I typically like it, but I can eat it. And I did eat it. And I cleaned up that bowl of kongguksu. So if you, I guess the best way to describe the taste of kongguksu is noodles and soy milk, noodles and cold soy milk. It's not quite exact or accurate, but it's close enough. Yeah, cold, pulpy soy milk. But yeah, if you don't like soy milk, you're probably not going to like kongguksu. All right, so I would say that is mission accomplished. The last couple of times I did this, the restaurants I ended up eating at weren't exactly the kind of thing I was looking for, but this was pretty darn close. So I found myself a nice little hole-in-the-wall restaurant owned by and operated by a nice little old lady and serving home-style Korean food, and it was good. Oh yeah, that was good. And I got to familiarize myself with Hwagokdong just a little bit. You know, Seoul neighborhoods, broad strokes, they're all generally similar. I mean, in the details they differ, and there is a wide variety. But yeah, the feel out here, I mean, this is heavily residential. That was the first thing that struck me. Some of the streets I walked down wouldn't have been out of place in Gangnam, and other streets wouldn't have been out of place in Hanamdong or Bogwangdong. So yeah, there was a lot that it felt familiar, even though I had never been here before. As always, I want to thank you for joining me today and coming along on this little exploration. And thanks for liking and subscribing. And I'll be back in 10 days or so with a favorite places video, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.